Thank you very much. So thank you for the introduction. Okay, everybody, so my name's Kate Wood, and I've come all the way from Manchester in the UK to speak. Thank you very much. I'm Managing Director of a company called Engage Your People, and this is my first time in Mumbai. It's my first time at the World Congress. Thank you very much. Let me just see, I don't want to go on to that slide yet, but I will do. So yeah, it's my first time at the World Congress, so I've been nervous, but I'm also really excited to be here, so thank you very much for having me. I'm going to talk to you about the importance of employee engagement. I'm going to talk to you about the importance of having a diverse workforce. Whatever one of these 31 countries you're from, that's going to be really important. And I'm going to talk to you about how maybe if you do those two things, which is engagement and diversity, maybe you could become the #1 company to work for in whichever country you are from. So, before we start, and just to check everyone's listening, I want to make sure to see how engaged do you think the employees that work at your business are. And I want you to put your hand up and score this out of 5. So I want you to score 5 being great, so 5 means they are completely engaged with everything that you're doing. 4's good, 3's average, no one really wants average employee engagement, do they? 2's poor and 1's very poor. So out of 5, who thinks, holding the hands up, they've got employee engagement of a level of 5 in their business? Anybody? Not many. 4, anyone? 4, that's good, very good. 3, yeah, average, we can get there, we can improve. Poor, very honest, thank you very much. And 1, very poor. Anyone thinks they've got poor, very poor employee engagement? Hopefully not, and maybe because you've come to this conference, obviously shows that you're engaged. And then the same with diversity. So who looks around in their own business and where they work and sees that lots of the people there look similar to them? Do people think that they've got a diverse workforce? Out of 5, again, how diverse would you say your workforce is? How many different types of ethnic origin, background, social background, sexual orientation, gender, religion, race? What kind of people work in your business? Score out of 5, how diverse? 5 is the most diverse, down to 1. Anyone think they've got a really diverse workforce? No? 4? Good? Yeah? Good? 3? Average? 2? Poor? Yeah? 1? Very poor. Well, hopefully today, after hearing some of the things I'm going to talk about, you might be able to learn some lessons which you could maybe go away and implement within your business, making it a bit more engaged and a bit more diverse. So, if I could work this, I'm on the board for Women of the Technology in the UK, for Women of Technology and Women of the IT channel. You wouldn't think it, would you? Okay, so I'm standing here as the MD of a software company, of which I am very proud, and like I say, to be a woman on a board in the UK for Women of Technology. But I also stand here as somebody who was almost expelled from school when I was 15. I was thrown out of home when I was 16. I got pregnant as a teenager, which is not ideal in the UK in the 90s. I had 2 children in a year, which again wasn't. And somewhere in the 90s, during that period of time when I was really, really struggling as a single parent, living on the breadline, but a lot of the time living below the breadline, which in Manchester is not ideal, I decided that a career was just not going to be for me. I thought that that was a bus that I had well and truly missed. And as I sat back with my toddlers, watching all of my friends go off to university, I never dreamed in a million years that I would have got a proper career. I certainly never dreamed I would come to Mumbai in a dead posh hotel and speak at an event. 9 years on, my children were teenagers, and I was still struggling, probably struggling more, because if anyone who's got teenagers, it's hell, isn't it? It's absolutely really hard, and my life had got worse. I didn't have any money, my broadband was always getting cut off, and I decided in 2011 that I was going to make a change, that was absolutely way out of my comfort zone. Now, for nearly 20 years, I'd been cleaning houses, I'd been waitressing, I'd been working at TGI Fridays, I'd been selling burgers and onion rings, and I decided to take a job selling technology. And I did not have a bloody clue what was going on. But, luckily for me, and remember this, the company that I applied to, which was Chess, they recruited on attitude and energy. So to them, they didn't care where I'd come from. It didn't matter to them that I didn't have many exam results, that I had 2 children, that I'd not had a lot of experience and that I'd not been to university. What they were interested in, even though all of the other men on the sales team were men and I was a woman, they recruited me on my attitude and energy, which we'll come back to later. And so I took the job way out of my comfort zone. And Chess were, though they are now, £125 million turnover technology business. They were telecoms, IT, cybersecurity. But at that point, when I joined, they didn't have 40,000 business customers. They didn't have 7 sites with 550 people like they do now. What they had was 60 people, all in one office in Alderley Edge, which is the jewel of Cheshire, if you've ever been to the UK. And as they were on a cultural transformation, trying to transform their commercial offering, I was obviously on a personal transformation. I was trying to change my life, and as luck would have it, Chess were trying to change theirs. And whether it's timing, or whether it's luck, or whether it's a bit of both, like most things in life probably are, I was a really good fit for Chess. And I got in there, and I excelled at sales, and then I got involved in training, and then I got involved in acquisition integration. And because I had a goal, which was basically just to keep my job so I could feed my kids who were now in the teenagers, Chess had a goal which was to be the #1 company to work for in the UK. That was their goal, and the way we benchmarked that was through this, the Sunday Times Top 100 Companies to Work For. And if you live in the UK or you've ever heard of it, that's a massive deal for corporate businesses. And so I thought I could get involved in that. I could help. Because you see figures like this, 41% of UK employees say they don't feel in sync with their organisational goals. Half of them aren't enthusiastic about the job, let alone want to be engaged and get in the top 100 list. 20% of people in the UK, or probably globally, are very likely to voluntarily leave their job within the next year. So how on earth were we going to become a great place to work and a great place to be a customer? It was going to be incredibly hard. The theme of this conference is happiness in the workplace, but engagement in the workplace is not the same as happiness. Engagement is all about being emotionally committed to your work goals. Engagement is that sense of purpose, that sense of meaning, that how you care about the work goals, how you care about the customer, you care about the company results. And though engagement is different to happiness, engagement is what is required to achieve happiness. Highly engaged workforces not only have an increase 10% in sales and 20% in customer ratings, highly engaged employees have happier home lives. And this was something that I became absolutely obsessed with, because I believed, working in an IT company, that if we could engage all of our employees, they would go home and they would have happier home lives. They would perceive themselves to be better parents, perceive themselves to be better partners, friends, have better health. And in turn, if we created happier families, surely we would create a happier world. But you can always rely on Gallup for some miserable stats. That was not going to be easy when 13% of the global employees are actively engaged, but worse, 26% of global employees are actively disengaged. Now, I spoke earlier about attitude and energy and about how I'd been recruited for my attitude and energy. Well, at Chess, by now I was head of culture, and I was leading a team of cultural ambassadors to embed our cultural methodology across what had now become not one site with 60 people, but 7 sites with 550 people. We were selling cybersecurity, digital products, mobile products. And at the backbone of every single thing we did was attitude and energy. So we promoted on attitude and energy. We recruited on attitude and energy. We got rid of our poor performers on attitude and energy. Rigor and consistency fell part of every single thing we did. Every one of our employees had a monthly one-to-one. Every one of our employees filled in a score of their morale every Friday. And leading this team of cultural ambassadors, we made sure that our culture reached far and wide to our home workers, to our flexible workers, to our part-time workers, to our people who were on maternity and paternity, who wanted to stay in touch. We were creating a modern workplace, and we needed to bring our people with us. And to do that, we needed cognitive diversity. And how were we going to do that? We had a board of white, middle-class, middle-aged men, and we did that through using cultural ambassadors. So cultural ambassadors are people voted in by the rest of the business. These are your people. They're not leaders. They may only have been at the business for a year, but we had 60 of them across the whole group, and these are the people who are going to keep your business fun and fair, and they are going to bring new ideas to your business. They're going to get your business feeling valued and cared for. And we did it. And our people were telling us that it was paying off. And you remember that goal that we had to be the #1 company to work for in the UK? That goal that seemed so hard, even harder than being a single parent, seemed the goal of getting us into the list. And in 2015, amidst all that change, all of those acquisitions, all of those new people, I was allowed to go to the award ceremony, and we went from 63rd to 3rd in the Sunday Times Top 100 business. And that was really difficult. We were a performance-driven business. 2016, our methodology was still paying off. We stuck with it, the attitude, the energy, the cultural ambassadors, and we were second. 2017, I must admit, this was a bit disappointing. We were second again. And then, throughout all the change, throughout all the performance driving that we'd done, in 2018, we became the Sunday Times Top 100 #1 company to work for in the whole of the UK. Through engagement and diversity. And you know what? Our profit was up. Our productivity was higher than it had ever been. But you know what mattered? The pride in our business was the highest it had ever been. Because our people, no matter what role they did, felt so proud, no matter what site they worked at, to be a member of that team that was recognised as the Sunday Times Top 100 business. We felt proud, and our customers felt proud, and our suppliers. And like I say, none of it was easy. We had a plan, and we stuck to it. Culture, initially, had been driven by technology. We'd embedded technology at the heart of everything that we did to help us communicate like a modern business. But after we won, we knew that culture could then drive technology. We created our own employee engagement platform. We went to market, and yeah, there's loads out there, but not one that suited our methodology. So we created it. Initially, Engage Your People was something we rolled out internally, but it went so well that last year, on the 1st of July, I left Chess to take this software that we'd created, this winning methodology that had got us to be the #1 company to work for, that had kept us in the Sunday Times list throughout all that change and transformation in our business for 11 years, to take this to market so that not only could we engage the wider businesses, our customers, more clients, anyone who wanted it, we knew by engaging those people, they would in turn engage their families and become happier. Engage Your People, a software product designed by us with our winning methodology, was what we used to make sure that all of our people and now our customers feel valued and cared for. Through the intelligent use of sentiment scoring, we can track how our people feel. We can track when those people don't feel engaged, sometimes before they even realise it themselves. And most importantly, we use it to track performance. I've spoken about attitude and energy. We score everything out of 5, including attitude, energy, knowledge, and performance. And we get rid of non-performers from people's business using our platform. We know that by engaging their people, they're going to increase performance, productivity, and pride, just like we'd done in 2018. So why does this go back to diversity? Why does it matter if people have a diverse experience at work? You know that to have a balanced team in your business, you're going to make better decisions, but it isn't always that easy. People will tell me that they don't have hidden bias in the decisions that they make in the business, and I'll tell them that they do. If you look at this slide, and this is just about gender, you can see without a framework to do your monthly one-to-ones, without a framework to do your regular communication to your business, without even realising it, you're going to have those hidden biases, and they're going to impact your people and your performance. You can see here the different words that are used to describe women compared to descriptions of men in appraisals. So you imagine if that's month on month on month, year on year on year, that women are getting treated differently than men in businesses, and you look at the UK and you look at any country and you show me boards that don't have middle-aged men from the same background, from the same kind of upbringing, because that's what this kind of thing creates. It doesn't create diversity of thinking, it doesn't create opportunity for all, and it doesn't get the best people in the best positions in your business, which is going to help your business perform. I'm clearly passionate about gender diversity. As I said, I sit on the board of Women in Technology, but this just makes sense. And you might think, here she is, going on about diversity, going on about gender. You might think that that's not a matter of life and death. But we know it is. Right back to 9/11, whatever country you're from, that impacted us, and it changed the world forever. The CIA, they get the top talent, but you know what? They didn't have the right talent. The studies show that 9/11 could have been stopped. 9/11 could have been different had they had the right people in the right team. It's a lot of words on a slide, but it's important. Homophily is when people hire people who think and often look like themselves. Had the CIA hired different types of people, would 9/11 have been a different type of day? Would people who've been familiar with Islamic culture, they might have understood that bin Laden viewed himself as a prophet, but the people on the CIA didn't know that. And likewise, you might think, well, that doesn't impact me. 20% lower chance of dying at a hospital with an engaged nursing team. That is going to impact you. If you look, for every 10% increase in employee engagement, mortality rates are reduced by 2.5. That is, again, going to impact you and your family. So employee engagement and diversity are the two things that you should be thinking about in your own business, but looking at in your clients, your suppliers, in your community, to see whoever you're dealing with. And yeah, it's a big subject, and yeah, there's a lot of change that needs to happen to make it right, but maybe you think you can't do it. Maybe you think that the steps are too big, but I know from what I achieved at Chess, and I know about how that goal of getting to be the #1 company we thought could never happen, but by small steps, if you start a movement and you go back to your workplace and build on what's probably already going on there, you can do it too. And I've got a video which shows you how. So I use that video to show how it's hard sometimes to start employee engagement. It's hard to start diversity movements in your business. But if you're brave and you're courageous and you throw yourself into it, I guarantee that other people will follow. So thank you very much. I've been Kate Wood. I don't know if anyone's got any questions, or you probably all want to go and get your lunch.